The Monroe County Sheriff's Office has settled a lawsuit filed by the family of a man killed during a drug raid in 2015.
The family of Ricky-Keeton has sued the county over the death of Keeton, who was shot after he reportedly pointed a gun at officers who were serving a no-knock warrant. Allie Martin talks with deputies and investigators who were there the night of the raid and the attorney who represented Keeton's family.
There's been nobody more ready to go and get this thing behind them than these guys. They've had to look back on the fact that they've had to shoot a man. Nobody went there that night wanting to hurt anybody.
Monroe County Sheriff-Kevin-Crook says officers involved in the drug raid on Ricky Keeton's home the night of October 28, 2015, have wanted to tell their side of the story, but they couldn't talk about the case because of ongoing litigation, a lawsuit filed by Keeton's family. At the time of the raid, the department was led by Cecil-Cantrell. On that night, the Monroe County Sheriff's Department had a warrant to search Keeton's mobile home for drugs. The no-knock warrant allowed deputies to breach the door without knocking first. Those who were present that night recalled the events.
So my job was to run the ram, and I hit the middle of the door twice to put a crease in the door to create a great gap for Sam, which he had the Halligan to, or the pry bar. And Sam's job was to pry the door open. And within a brief few seconds, we got the door open. And then once the door came open, Mr. Keeton was standing there with a handgun in his hand with a light on it. And I didn't understand what he said, but he was saying something and he was pulling the trigger at that point. So then at that point, I put the ram down and turned and got out of the way of the other officers returning fire.
Captain John Bishop was a lieutenant the night of the raid on Keeton's home. He and others who were there say officers were identifying themselves as the raid unfolded.
When he hit the door the first time to crease it, I started yelling, "Sheriff's Department, Sheriff's Department, Sheriff's Department." That's just a habit you pick up during this job. If you have an alarm call and you get to a house and there's a door open for whatever reason, you announce yourself before you walk in. It's just a habit.
Deputies on scene that night say Keeton fired several rounds from his handgun, which was a pellet gun. This photo of the gun with the tactical light attached was taken by the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, where Keeton dropped it.
And he yelled something and shot. I know he shot 3 times. I know that. And I yelled gun, and I dropped the Halligan tool, drew my firearm, and somehow got the door shut and started returning fire.
Keeton died from his wounds, and agents with the Mississippi Bureau of Narcotics found a felony amount of meth in the trailer. Keeton's family filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Monroe County. Attorney Jim-Waide represents the Keeton family. Recently, attorneys for the county's insurance company agreed to settle the case, paying the Keeton family $690,000. Waide says the main issue was the use of the no-knock warrant.
A no-knock search, of course, is a search where the officers go to the door and begin breaking in without notice, without any prior notice. They may be yelling Sheriff's Department at the time, but it can't be heard over all the commotion going on. So the homeowner, such as Ricky Keeton, wakes up in the middle of the night and hears somebody whom he thinks a burglar is breaking into his home, and does the natural thing that 90% of all Mississippians would do, which is go to the door armed.
Sheriff Kevin Crook says there are instances where no-knock warrants are justified. He also says deputies undergo continuous training and update their tactics as needed.
But these guys go there, do it exactly like they're trained to do it, and then a door opens up, a guy standing there with a gun pointed at him, firing it. And I mean, that's the facts, and that's why we weren't willing to settle as a department on nothing. I mean, we knew the guys didn't do anything wrong.
A special grand jury cleared all officers of any wrongdoing. Telling your story in Monroe County, Allie Martin, WCBI News.
You can read the complete settlement agreement at our website. That's WCBI.com.